Hello, my beauts. Welcome to my channel. I am Diana Shamanic, and here we are with an overview of the energies for the forthcoming new moon in Sagittarius on December the 1st. Can you believe that it's December already? What a year this has been. Needless to say, I hope you're all doing amazingly wherever you are on the planet. Now, one of the things about a new moon is that it sets the tone for the entire month ahead, or month, as I heard one astrologer call it recently. I absolutely love that. And this particular month feels very open, very dynamic, and very exciting, not least because Pluto is now in Aquarius, where he's going to stay until 2044. And this energy heralds the start of some seriously revolutionary breakthroughs in both society and technology. Aquarius ruling innovation, technology, and collective progress. And the new moon being in Sagittarius emphasizes exploration, adventure, higher learning. Sagittarius is all about the higher mind and also expanding the horizons, really broadening the horizons. There's also a lot of optimism and positivity in the field too. One of the great things about Sagittarius energy is that this is an energy that always has so much faith in the bigger picture, even if there are challenges. So then, this new moon is a real call for you to expand your horizons, whether that be through travel, philosophy, or spiritual growth. So with all of that said then, let's take a look at the chart and break it all down. Okay, so here we've got the sun and the moon at 9 degrees of Sagittarius. And new moons mark the beginning of the lunar cycle, so symbolizing new beginnings and intention settings, and generally planting seeds for growth and for manifestation and all that kind of thing. And as I said earlier, this month, there's this real call to expand your horizons and to learn more, explore more. Sagittarius is the real open-minded adventurer. But then take a look at this. Look what we've got here. Right next to the sun and moon is a conjunction to Mercury retrograde at 20 degrees of Sagittarius. And this energy, which rules communication, information, learning, how we take in information, how we communicate it to others, all of that kind of thing. This energy being retrograde actually adds a bit of introspection, shall we say, to the table. And this is actually keeping the very fiery and flighty Sagittarius energy from maybe being too gung-ho, let's say, and perhaps coming a cropper. Now, Mercury has been retrograde since the 26th of November. And we'll be going direct on the 15th of December, which is full moon day, incidentally. And the retrograde period is really a time to be revisiting beliefs. So taking a slow down for a while, re-examining your plans and just having a general rethink, really, in terms of how things are unfolding and asking yourself questions such as, what is your truth? What are your values? And with the new moon being in Sagittarius, what are your long-term goals? What are your philosophies and beliefs? Where do they need updating? Philosophies and beliefs are very Sagittarian themes. And the opposition to Jupiter in Gemini here, see, we've got Mercury retrograde opposing Jupiter in Gemini. This is really giving us some kind of push-pull dynamic between exploration on the one hand, so that's Sagittarius, and then examining the data, which is very Gemini. So what I mean by that is, zooming in on all the particulars, looking at it from all different perspectives and asking yourself, what's true for me? Is it true from this angle? Let's really look at it. And it feels good, which Sagittarius is all about. Sagittarius is all about the overarching dynamic and the general feel, the overarching feel. But, you know, does it work? Does it work from a more detailed perspective? And both Mercury and Jupiter are retrograde. And to me, this feels like the energy is going one step further, really, in highlighting that need to refine the ideas, you know, refine the long-term plans. And then going back to this opposition again, it feels like it's also asking you to find the balance with the opposition, find the balance between your big vision, which is Sagittarius, and then all the mechanics of it, all the dynamics. So Sagittarius energy seeks purpose, while Gemini calls for clarity more than anything else, calls for mental clarity, has to make sense from the perspective of the mind. And we've got some great supporting aspects here, actually, to the sun and the moon this month. So here we've got a trine to Mars in Leo at 5 degrees. Now, Mars is actually about to station retrograde in a few days, but here it's still direct. And in Leo, this is really energizing the new moon with a real sense of passion and creativity and bold action. So Mars in Leo brings real confidence to pursue ambitions and engage in heartfelt expression. So Leo rules the heart. So here we've got a great support from Mars in Leo, you know, to really take some proactive steps towards your goals. Meanwhile, just like we had before, actually, with Mercury retrograde, we've got another balancing position that kind of neutralizes the fire somewhat. So we've got this square from the new moon to Saturn in Pisces at 12 degrees. And this really has the effect of grounding, again, this very fiery Sagittarian energy. So Saturn calls for realism and discipline. So this energy is introducing themes of emotional or spiritual, I want to say responsibility, such a Saturnian word, responsibility. So responsibility and discipline. So in this chart, Saturn's really challenging the new moon. Challenging the new moon to align these Sagittarian visions and dreams and broader strokes and all of that with concrete efforts. Oh, this is making Saturn so happy. Concrete efforts, wanting to see efforts that produce tangible results, not just ideas. So Saturn here really is a very sobering influence, you know, just like this Mercury retrograde. Feels like it can really test your commitment. Actually, this is another Saturnian word, commitment. How committed are you to these sparkly and exciting new directions that Sagittarius wants to go galloping and gallivanting off towards? But how committed are you to actually bringing these dreams into reality and making some hard effort? Maybe not necessarily hard, but, you know, Saturn wants to see the discipline. So actually, it's really nice, you know, what we've got here. It's like we've got the trine to Mars and the square to Saturn, and it's like a merging of creative courage, Mars in Leo, with discipline. Creative courage with discipline. So amazing tools, actually, for this new moon to really start to really ground your visions and ground your manifestations with. And so like the trine to Mars in Leo, it's adding enthusiasm to an already enthusiastic moon in Sagittarius and sun in Sagittarius. But the square to Saturn in Pisces, this is really requiring you to stay grounded and consistent. Consistency is important here, you know, because while the Sagittarian new moon is really inspiring that zeal and that faith and really that sense of adventure. Yeah, the square to Saturn is really tempering this with a demand for patience and also for accountability. Accountability is what's coming through here. Accountability, responsibility. There's a need to balance faith with structure. Faith with structure. So the question here could also be, how can optimism, how can that fire, how can that excitement, how can that real belief in the vision, how can you use that to catapult you into making sure it's going to happen through disciplined effort? How can the optimism be the fuel, be the driving force for disciplined effort? And so Saturn is also the natural ruler of Capricorn, which is actually also, it's also the energy that Venus is still expressing herself through. So here she is at 23 degrees of Capricorn, and Venus is also ultimately seeking stability and structure. And here's the exciting thing. Look down here. She is, to add a little bit of a zing to the proceedings, she's trining Uranus retrograde. And of course, Uranus sparks breakthroughs. So I love this energy. It feels like this is bringing through fresh and innovative Uranus approaches to love and money, Venus. So this trine, I feel, is a real encouragement to take new dynamic approaches, try something new when it comes to love, when it comes to relationships, when it comes to your finances. And at the same time, the Capricorn influence is ensuring a practical outlook. But the Uranian energy brings forth that spark of genius, when you get an idea out of the blue, that spark of creativity. And so actually this month, it really feels like a good time for creative problem solving. Creative problem solving when it comes to your long-term goals. And I say long-term because Capricorn rules longevity, rules old age. So the question here could also be, where can stability coexist with fresh ideas? So many questions for this Mercury retrograde period. Brilliant. And finally, I'm going to close off with just mentioning the Lord of the Sea, Neptune. Here we have him, or it, the energy of Neptune at 27 degrees retrograde, still retrograde, of Pisces, sextiling Pluto at that 0 degrees of Aquarius. It's an out of sign sextile, but it's a sextile nonetheless. And I love this because, Neptune retrograde, it's helping to get clear on any illusions that you've been under the spell of. While Pluto in Aquarius, what Pluto's doing with his journey through Aquarius for the next 20 years is Pluto's going to be reforming and empowering us on the level of society. So it feels like the breaking of illusions that help drive the reforming of society, the reforming of New Earth, which I feel is pretty exciting. So that's it from me for the new moon in Sagittarius. Hope this info has been a little bit helpful and illuminating. Have a great couple of weeks, and I'll see you back here for the full moon breakdown soon. The full moon, of course, is on the 15th of December, and it's a full moon in Gemini. Till then, take care.